Ira, I appreciate you meeting with me this afternoon. I know it's getting off work. I see you still got the dock scrubs on and probably trying to get some stuff done. Did you have a rough day today?
Oh, it wasn't too bad, man. It's every day is like Christmas in our world. You just never know what you're gonna have. And it's just our businesses have grown so much that now a lot of it's just about it's beyond veterinary medicine. It's managing employees and interpersonal struggles and hiring new people. And just, I mean, it's a pretty good sized business. And so I don't know exactly where we're going, but we've got a ton of private equity interest in it. And so we're just trying to weigh how we, do our succession planning and our exit strategy and go from where we are today to the, smooth transition into the next ranking of leadership and all that stuff. So yeah, man, every day, regardless of what you got, which we always have a bunch of interesting, crazy cases, but then you have a bunch of interesting, crazy people you got to deal with too.
Yeah. Have y'all finally started actually having patients come in with their dogs since COVID, or y'all still doing the door delivery type deal?
No, we're wide open for whoever wants it. But our only thing is, if you walk through that door, don't come through with any preconceived notions. I mean, if you're worried about anything, stay in your car.
Call us.
Don't think you're going to judge anybody or tell anyone what to do. You're coming into our world, and it's just it is what it is.
Okay. Well, yeah, I agree with all that. Right before we get started, to kind of give us your summary bio. Ira McCauley, and how he's gotten where he is, and you have your hand in so many different companies and platforms. Kind of summarize and what you do.
Man, I have a highly varied assortment of stuff going on, and I grew up a swimmer. I swam my whole life. I got a college scholarship to the University of Missouri to swim. I hopped in the pool about 4 times and got out and puked and said, I'm freaking done with this. I'm so burnt out. I'm not ever getting in the pool again. And I haven't, unless it's been with a cold one in my hand. And so I was like everybody else. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was either going to be a game warden or a veterinarian or a biologist of some sort. And so I was just kind of treading water, and somehow they made a mistake and I got into vet school. And so I went through vet school and got my degree and started off in mixed animal practice. And then I went to emergency medicine, and then I went to small animal practice. And then in 2000, I moved home to St. Louis, Missouri. Not St. Louis, really. We live an hour away, but and we bought a practice and started a practice in 2000. So 21 years ago. And I was like everybody else. I didn't have anything except a big old pile of student loans. And, I worked at night at the emergency clinic and during the day at our little fledgling practices. And so that went on for a little while. And of course, so I started my business in 1998, Ira McCauley DVM PC. And that was kind of a relief veterinary business that we rolled our practices into. And then same year, 1998, I started MOmarsh, which some of your people might know. And at the time, all that we did was fiberglass duck boats. That was really it. We had a glass shop, and I did a lot of the work. And I had some high school kids that are like, how 17 and 18-year-olds are. You got to say, you got 10 boats there, and you're like, okay, we're gonna sand all these boats, top, and then turn it over and do the bottom. And you got 10 of them there, and they sand the first one, and then they're all standing there. And you're like, what are you thinking about? Oh, I'm thinking about Mary. What do you think about? Nothing. And it's like, well, you got more to go. And then they'd sand the next one, and they're all standing there. So that was kind of how MOmarsh started off. And so anyway, I'm the founder of MOmarsh, which is now not just a little small sneak boat business company. And then, in 2008, we started Habitat Flats, which is an outfitting business here in Missouri. and that was me, Dan Doherty, and Tony Vandemore. And now we got a place in Canada and a couple in Missouri and one in Arkansas, and so that's been good. And then I sold MOmarsh in 2018, May of 2018, although I'm still very involved. And I had a little midlife crisis and decided I needed to start another company. So we started a barnwood company where through the years building all these lodges, we'd tear down barns. And man, it's dangerous and takes a lot of time. And so I was like, we're just going to start making our own barnwood. So that's what Better Barnwood's all about. We have a sawmill and a kiln that we built, and we cut new boards and have a process we put them through to make them look. I say boards, mantles, timbers like you see here, porches, interior, exterior siding, furniture, all kinds of stuff. But anyway, that was one of my interests. So we started a company for that. And then the most recent thing is Habitat Flats. Tony and I had been talking for a while about, most waterfowlers love dogs. It's a big interest of ours. And so this 2021, March 2021, we had bought 220 acres in 2020. And then we built several buildings and improved the whole property to optimize it for retriever training, and hired some trainers and some good people. And so we started Habitat Flats Kennels in March 2021. And man, it's just clicking right along, enjoying it. I mean, it's awesome to go visit, and it's great to be a part of. And, if you listen to the story that I'm telling here, I have a vocation by formal training, which is being a veterinarian. And that's probably 20% of what I do or what I'm involved in. The rest of it is all just based on passion, and passions that grew into something that was an actual legitimate business. So, most people tell you you're crazy. Don't do that. Go get education, have a job, get a guaranteed paycheck. I have not followed that mold at all. Right, wrong.
Kind of find a need, fill a need type deal.
Yeah, I mean, if you like something and you have a vision, and then you implement it, and then you follow through and put the tools in place and all that, then you got a chance at being successful.
Yeah, I didn't know that barnwood was you. I'd seen Joe had posted, he sent me the page, on Facebook to like it, start following it. And I started, actually, we're getting ready to do an addition. So I started screenshotting some stuff to add to our thing. And but I didn't know that was you also.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we tore down so many barns, and I was like, man, this is crazy. I had to go to the emergency twice, and I mean, it's dangerous and it's hard, and you got bugs and nothing's square, and you spend so much time cleaning it up. It's just a mess to work with. So I was like, there's got to be a better way to get something that looks good and the way that you want it, and you can just get it delivered and then just go with it, instead of having to spend all that time on a table saw, squaring it up and cleaning it up and debugging it. And they're always dirty and full of spider webs and everything else. That was kind of the deal with that.
I got you. Well, kind of give you a history.
It's been fun. I mean, it's been good. We deal with the Amish. We built the buildings and all that, but they do the work, and so that's an interesting challenge. Joe's got to deal with all the communication, thank God, bills and all that.
Is there a big Amish community up there?
There is, yeah. I mean, in spots, but it's big time Amish land. I mean, I remember when our boys were younger, we were going up there and we saw two boys on a single horse-drawn plow with a seed box in the middle. And they're going along and dropping those seeds in there. And our boys are sitting in the back looking at, watching the movie or their iPhone, whatever they had. I'm like, man, look at the difference between these worlds. These kids are out there dropping seeds in a hole on a single drawn or a horse drawn single plow, planting their corn. And our boys don't even know the world's spinning.
It's different times. I got a 5-year-old and a 10-month-old. They just come here and see me, and then I had the VR game set up for him. He watched his tablet the whole time on the plane. I mean, they don't know any difference. It's just weird. It different is.
I mean, either one, it just is different universes.
That's right. But it's kind of interesting, and I know, and I must say something, but how kind of all this happened to me. You actually had a little bit involved with it kind of years ago. I decided I kind of want to start doing some social media stuff and some content creating stuff, and I was seeing other people do stuff. I was like, well, I can do that, and it just so happened that I already had the Invisalab at the time, and I was trying to decide between the Invisalay or Invisiman. And I'd actually sent you, I know you probably don't remember, I'm sure everybody messages you all the time, but I'd actually sent you an Instagram message like, hey, I can only pick one right now. Here's kind of my hunting setup. Which one of these two would benefit me the best? And he was like, hey, Invisiman, all day, every day, run with it. So I actually selected it, went to Cabela's, picked it up, and then I did a kind of a YouTube like open box review video and kind of used it. How to break. Do what?
I saw that. That was cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and Joe had reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, see this?" And it got a good bit of views. And he's like, he just started that business he had at the time. He's like, "Would you be willing to kind of help rep some of the brands I have?" And then that walked into MOmarsh. And then when you and Higdon did y'all's deal, that kind of just fed me into the Higdon pipe chain and with Brooke and all those guys. And of course, I still send Joe all of my content he pushes on the MOmarsh pages. And that fed into Cabela's and Bass Pro. And so all that started with me messaging you, asking about, which one to get, and then just doing a quick cell phone video years ago about it. Kind of went from there. So that's kind of how I started. Cool. I just thought that was neat.
Thanks for telling me that. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. But I seen, like I said, I follow Joe and you, and people don't know Joe Weimer is kind of like your full-time videographer, and he does a lot of the MOmarsh PR, and he works with Higdon. So, I follow him a lot of stuff he's doing, which is a lot of y'all's projects. And I'd actually seen a video he just did today about some drone work he did I seen all the excavators and stuff working at Habitat Flats, getting some new ground ready. So do y'all have some new hunting spots opening up there?
We do, but I mean, it doesn't matter if it's new or old. There's always so much. I mean, like for us, when you own a bunch of property and you're managing it, whether it's something that you're developing like out of the box, like you bought something and you need to revamp it, or you want to improve it, or you need to do a myriad of different things to make it functional to be somewhere, it's developed for waterfowl. Or, you might have the property you've had for 20 years or 10 years or whatever, and floods and rains and everything that happens. I mean, there's maintenance on any piece of property and repairs, and especially when you're talking about waterfowl and you're in the bottoms and you've got just too much water, you get that silt load, and drainage is always an issue, whether you're talking about RP tracks or ag tracks or whatever else. Nothing's static. I mean, it's always dynamic, it's changing. And when it changes, that equates to money and time. So yeah, a lot of that stuff that he's filming, some of it's improvements on new property we bought. I don't know, we're always buying stuff, but a lot of it's just stuff that we've had that just needs to be repaired. There's always siltation issues, there's always beaver damage, there's all kinds of different flood damage, muskrat damage, just natural succession where trees and non-desirable plants start to take over. So, there's all summer, and Tony for Habitat Flats does the majority of this work. He does some of it on our stuff too. And when I say ours, mine and my brother's. But there's just a lot to be done. It's a never ending deal. It's like being married. You just have to work on it every day, 12 months out of the year. It isn't easy.
You gotta keep it right. You have the magic relationships.
It's going to cost you money, and you gotta places you might or might not want to massage all the time.
Well, on the as far as the Habitat Flats go, as far as the hunting property, I know you have your personal property, and then there's the company property. Do you ever get called in anymore to guide if somebody gets sick, or do you ever just choose to guide some old clients, or do you ever host anything, or you just one of the minds around the process now and let Tony and his crew smoke it off?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's a business, so those guys are organized. They got their way that they do stuff and their process. There are times where I'm like, hey, I'll take someone that I've hunted with for years and years that I want to spend some time with. I'll take them to one of my spots or something. But that used to be commonplace. It's getting less and less all the time, just because I'm not there and engaged as much.
Yeah.
But still, I'll take someone here and there occasionally now. But I've got a lot of industry stuff going on. I've got friends and family that I'm more focused on, and last year wasn't the greatest season, and so there was a lot of time where I was just like, man, I'm gonna go me and one or two other people, and that's it, because I knew it wasn't gonna be a fast hunt. I knew it was gonna take some time, or maybe I wouldn't even go in the morning. Maybe I'd go do something different in the morning than hunt in the afternoon, because it was just such stale weather last year. The mornings were pretty slow most of the time. So there were several days where I was like, I'm not even gonna go. I'm gonna go do other stuff, and I'll go hunting about 2:30, 3 o'clock, and you don't want to go traipsing in there with 5 or 6 guys at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, hoping that it gets good before quitting time. So last year was very different than, golly, it'd been a long time since we had a season that tough. And when I say tough, our numbers were still good, but it wasn't big blocks. It was ones, twos, threes. And if you'd have had 10 guys or 3 guys, you're going to shoot the same number of ducks, because you only had so much time and it was only so many ducks. You were going to kill them, but it wasn't like there were 40 there, let it rain. You know what I mean?
Are you? What's your opinion? Because I live in Alabama and I have hunt property there. Yes, we do actually have a few ducks there, but then I have a lodge in Jonesboro, Bono area, just down the road from D&W. Is one of my best pits, where I do all that kind of stuff too for hunting season, and I can tell the difference in duck numbers and whatnot. Do you think it's just 100% all weather? I mean, I'm just talking about your opinion. Do you think it's 100% all weather? Or do you think stuff shifts? I mean, what do you think? You've been doing this for a while.
Oh, I mean, I think like we got all our ducks early, like everybody did. Arkansas had them early. We had them early. Those ducks are smart. They got here really early. A lot of them. I mean, there were a lot of ducks, and the weather pattern was stable. We didn't have any rain here. We didn't have any freeze thaw events. So as ducks figure out where they're safe and they get in a pattern, and if you don't have a major weather change up, they just stay with that pattern. So we didn't have near the ducks we normally do. Like, I think a lot of them never got here. Nobody knows what the hatch was like. No one knows what the population. Been no reporting due to COVID. But anyway, slice it. You look at our surveys. We were less than half of our normal population of ducks area wide, so we had less ducks, and then the ducks that we had never had to get out of a nocturnal pattern. And that's why I said a lot of days I didn't go in the morning, because it did go on. And then in the afternoons, like normally, even when they're nocturnal, 3-5 minutes after shooting time, those ducks are sifflating, and before that, but they really start rolling right after shooting time. This year, it was 20-30 minutes after dark where they were really starting to roll. And so to me, that is a function of weather and it being stale. But the other thing I wonder about, and nobody knows, but I just really wonder if we had a poor hatch last year and there were a lot of old ducks that just knew the deal and a
Yeah.
lack of young. That's, I just wonder that. I don't have any data that supports that, but that's, thinking back through the years, it's what it seemed like, and I held off on tabulating our totals, and when I finally did, it was way better than I thought it was going to be. It seemed slow because you didn't have big bunches, but we still killed a lot of ducks.
Yeah. That's good. I didn't, with being gone, I didn't get to hunt too much this year. In fact, I didn't hunt any in Arkansas. I went home for Christmas and hunted in Alabama. We actually had a pretty good time because there's a little bit of a freeze out kind of in that mid part of the country, and it pushed what was kind of in the Delta region kind of over to us. I took my son on his first duck hunt and done that. So those 4 or 5 days, we actually did really good. And for me, yeah, I was
Cool.
pretty happy with that.
Heck
So
yeah.
it was enjoyable.
About that, I mean, you go when you can, and like for me, every day is different. I'm not out there just so that I can be guaranteed to kill my limit. We're gonna have one way or the other, but still at the same time, I mean, I want people that are hunting with me to have a good experience. So, and I want everybody to get a chance to pull the trigger, just like everybody does. Heck, I could have 5 guys over here tonight, and we could eat chicken and drink whiskey, have a great time, but still not duck hunting.
That's right. Well, kind of get into the kennel thing. That's kind of what I was interested in for a lot of the new stuff. So who's the trainer you got this kennel? Who's running for you?
Well, our head trainer is Clint Mann. Clint is now the most tenured field trial guy in Missouri since Bobby George died. So he's got a lot of experience. Great guy, very knowledgeable, has all the creds, all the street cred. And so he's our guy. And then we've got Logan Van from Alabama. Do you know
Yeah,
Logan?
I know Logan. I know Logan.
Yep. And then we've got Lauren, who, golly, her last name escapes me now, but she's a little sweetheart and a diamond in the rough. And so she's the one that she's the glue that keeps everything together. And she does some puppy training, some young dog training. Those guys run most of the old dogs. We're actually looking for some new trainers right now, and we got a full house for what the staff we have.
Yeah.
And so, when you're growing, it's just a matter of, I mean, the ball's rolling, and you just got to kind of try to figure it out and keep from bleeding too much. And that's the stage we're in right now. So we're growing, and it's all good. We got an awesome facility, awesome grounds. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things happening. I mean, the kennel's going to be way more than just dog training. It's going to be tower shoot for pheasants, up and bird kick and shoot, 5 stand, sporting clay, skeet, all that on that piece of ground. And we're hoping to expand it a little bit and add some more ground. We're hoping that it'll be a deal where people can come and train their dog, shoot their gun, stay at the lodge, eat some good food, relax, have a good time, come for like a 3-day trip, 4-day trip, 5-day trip, whatever, and learn a lot, be an educational experience for them and their dog, but not just dog training, have a good time too. And it extends our for us, that, I mean, on our side, it keeps our staff engaged, keeps our lodges going. I mean, just makes a whole lot of sense to kind of meld it all together. So that's what we're working on. There's still a lot to be done. I got some pretty big visions. I say we, but yeah, man, I think when it's all said and done, it'll be really, really, really cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I honestly didn't know Logan was there.
Yeah,
I do a lot of I'm on the board for our HRC stuff here in Alabama for our hunt test in North Alabama. I'm usually marshaling flights, stuff like that when I'm not running my dog. And so I know Logan for running him before and stuff. So
great guy.
Oh yeah. Are y'all have any chance about things you're gonna do? Would y'all ever host a hunt test there?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we're planning on hunting or hosting a SRS, and we're planning on hosting everything with some time. I don't know what all's going to happen this year or next year, but that's certainly in the works.
Yeah, SRS is something I kind of like to get into myself. My dog, she's a HRCH master hunter, and I don't know if I'm gonna have the time. She's 6 now, so I don't know if I'll go for the Master National or the Grand, because I kind of bred her in hunting season, so I haven't. Once she got those 2 titles, I've just kind of enjoyed her. And
Sure.
but I've always enjoyed the SRS, and with Shannon Arty and those guys, watching it. And I'm in
Yeah.
Huntsville, right there where I live, so usually the Nationals are usually always right there in my backyard. One
Yeah.
thing I like, and you may have seen it before, but that 4x4 medley, I told Shannon I'd like to see that come back again, where they have the 4 handlers and the 4 dogs on a team. I just thought that was a neat concept, and I kind of like that, kind of group dynamic.
Yeah. As an aside, she's moving here, so I'm going to be her vet here real soon. She's moving right next to our office, one of our offices. Yeah. So she's a neat lady, and
Oh
I'm
yeah,
looking forward to her. But yeah, like me and Tony, we're not big into the games and all that. We're not field trial guys. We're not hunt test guys. I mean, we're duck hunters, right? That's what we do, and we're fortunate to have some good dogs. But what we want and our vision is, and kind of what we're trying to convey and what we're trying to have happen at our kennel is, we want dogs that can perform, but what we've seen through the years over and over and over and over again is that, people show up and they've got a dog with all these ribbons and all these titles, and the dog's a highly skilled dog and it's lane, right? So this dog do all the stuff and it's lane. And so they'll show up and they see our dogs. Well, they're in their lane, and our dogs make it all look easy because they do it every day. Like, they know what those ducks are going to do, and they know how to navigate the ramps and hop in the holes and stay put and be steady and all the things we need them to do. And so a guy will show up and his dog's got all these ribbons, and he's like, but he might not even handle the dog before. And so he'll show up and we can't even get the dog in the dog blind. We can't get the dog come upstairs. We can't get the dog get in a pit. We can't even get started to our hunting day, which is okay. Not so bad if it's a group that's not mixed, right? If it's just him and his buddies, although even then they're giving him crap, oh, this dog's got all these ribbons and we can't even start hunting yet, and we want to integrate that world with our world, where those dogs, it's just like, you might have a highly trained dog that's never seen a drain tile in a concrete parking lot before, and it's going across the concrete parking lot and it sees that grate, and that dog jumps back like it's about to be bit by a snake,
looking like a horse.
So, yeah. So we want those dogs to be exposed to this. We want to get around. We want to be exposed to going up steps that might or might not have a back to a platform, to getting into an Invisilab, ground blind, whatever, all the common hunting scenarios. We want to have all those tools in place where those dogs are comfortable doing that. They've been worked out of that. They know how to be steady in that. They know how to stay in it, all that stuff, so that when a guy goes somewhere on a trip where his dog's out of its natural environment that it's used to, it doesn't flip out, because the dog shies away a little bit, and then what happens? The guy gets frustrated. And then what's the guy do? He hits the button. And then what's the dog do? He has an aversion. And then it just goes downhill from there. So that's really the main, like, for Habitat Flats Kennels, us being Habitat Flats, a hunting outfitter, and our whole community of people and dogs and everything else, we want to try to get that negative experience out of the way for those people and dogs, to where they can go anywhere and have any equipment in any situation that's a common hunting situation, and their dog already know what's going on, so that it's not a deal where it comes down to pressure and people making mistakes and everybody getting frustrated.
Oh yeah, there's nothing better than a good dog on a hunt. There's nothing worse than somebody's bad dog on a hunt. That does that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
And then for me, I know, so I got into it. I just wanted a dog to go pick up my ducks, right? So a buddy of mine was a horse trainer here in Alabama. He had one. And I was like, I like that dog. How can I get one? They're like, oh, well, she's got some litter mates could be born. And yeah, they had papers and stuff. But I didn't know none of the names, pedigrees or whatnot. And so I just found the dog, and I'd done police work, dog work, and military dog work before, so I could do obedience, on leash. We didn't do any off leash here, but I do now. But so I kind of would do some leash stuff and do some stuff, and I found some YouTube videos. How I found Aiken. I bought his DVD. It's like, hey, I can do that. So, but I did all the hunting season stuff, and I was like, I didn't want hunting season to end, and I found the HRC club next to me. So what? I had zero intention of ever running a hunt test. I just wanted a good hunting dog, but then once I had a good hunting dog, I was like, well, hunting season's only kind of, I want to do more stuff with her. And, what's a couple more weekends out of the year, travel and kind of continue the hunt stuff. So that's why we ended up going down the hunt test world. Not because I was trying to have some kind of pedigree dog, just because I just want to do more stuff with my dog.
Yeah. And I really think there's a lot of that going on. You'd know better than me, but I think there's a lot of guys, especially when you go south, that are wanting to have more interaction with their dog, and they may not be fortunate to have, great duck hunting. So they're turning towards more interactive, options like HRC and hunt tests and all that stuff. I mean, I know that now that I'm not in the world, but I'm exposed to it. And I guess those things just fill up like that. Like if you're not on the phone ready to register the second that it becomes available, you're out.
Well, so there's actually a new rule about that. You brought that. It just passed, and the guy who runs our president I said we're just a bunch of hicks that run dogs and have some sunrise sodas, but we the guy that's in charge of our little group, he's the AKC president. They just passed a rule where, because when you on the entry programs that you do online, you have to designate whether you're pro or non-pro. And so what they've actually done is they've made it where non-pros get a whole day or a whole couple of hours ahead of time before the pros. Because me with my one dog wanting to go run a master test versus somebody that's got a trail load trying to get 26 dogs qualified for the nationals. I may not get my one dog in because that person at 26. They've actually changed the rules now where if you're a non-pro, because it's not really taking that much out. Because master test is 60 dogs, you might have 10 non-pro dogs. The rest of them are all pro trainers that are trying to run them through, to get qualified. So they've actually changed those rules now, and it's supposed to start. I think actually it has started. Where now there actually is that little gap for people, one or two dogs like me that just want to run their personal dog, can actually get on there a couple hours early and register.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day. I was just listening, but Clint was talking about that with Brooke. And like I said, I got my dog and we do our thing, and she's good in my little world. But yeah, we talked about that, and I know that there's a lot of people playing that game and or those games. I mean, there's a bunch of them, but man, I think it's awesome. I mean, I wish I could do it more just with a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old that are into all kinds of sports. Dogs taking a backseat unless it's hunting season right now.
That's right. And I get it. My son started playing ball this year. My wife actually was a big softball player. She has national records that still haven't been broken, and she's been out of high school for 15 years. They're all about some ball, and so my son taking after her. She had the most bases stolen in a season and most bases stolen consecutively for high school female, and she still owns those records. Nobody's broken. Maybe come close. And man, they're hoping my son can go right behind them. I'm like, oh no, he's still half mine, so we'll see after that world. So I was good at shooting things and blowing stuff up. That's why I joined the Army. I wouldn't go ball. I played ball, but I wouldn't go nowhere with it.
Yeah, no, it's funny because my wife was a high jumper. Well, I can't even clear a sidewalk. And our old son, he's 6'5", and he's got a 37-inch vertical. So he definitely got all her genes and none of mine, thank God. Except the bad thing is he got her attitude too. So, we got to deal with some of that in a 17-year-old, so hopefully she
It's a
doesn't
give and take, give and take. So on the go back to the kennel. So like, how many dogs y'all have now? And is it just training, or y'all gonna kind of breed y'all's own dogs too?
Yeah, both for sure. So we bought a bunch of puppies just to kind of get the ball rolling. So we've got some starter dogs to sell and all that. But I think we've got about 40 paying training dogs, and then we've got maybe 8 either owner or guide dogs that are there. And then I think we got like 25 puppies that are, either purchased or not purchased, that are just kind of growing up, waiting in limbo to get old enough to start training. Some of them are, well, they're all in some level of training, but some of them are into more intensive training, and some of them are just in simple obedience type stuff, imprinting type stuff. We've
Yeah,
kind of
like socialization stuff.
yeah.
What is Clint? What do y'all charge a month for y'all's dog program? So they will send y'all a dog. What's it charge, and what's kind of going to be covered?
Yeah, our regular adult dog training costs us $1,100 a month. So some of that, if you have your dog there for quite a while, then we give you a discount on some of that. But if you have your dog there for 4 months, it's $1,100 a month.
Does he have like different programs, like a 4-month gun dog program, or like somebody just wants just a basic gun dog, and then somebody wants to keep going for handling, or somebody wants to keep going for whatever? Is there kind of different stages, or just kind of case by case?
Well, sure, but I mean, remember, we're young, so we're still trying to identify exactly how we want our programs to be lined out.
Yeah.
I mean, my thoughts of what I feel like from a hunting standpoint, the way that I feel like it should roll. Clint, of course, he has a different view because being a field trial guy forever, his dogs are there. And so, there's not a cookie cutter deal. It kind of varies depending on what you're wanting out of your dog. How much some people want their dog at home. I mean, they want it to be obedient. They want it to not embarrass them in the field, but they want it to be at home. They want it. So, in my mind, that's a 8 to 15-month dog, right? You're going to have it for a while. You're going to send it home. You're going to get it back. You're going to get it to the level where it'll handle, sit on a whistle, do what you want to do, be obedient, and all that. But it's not a dog that's out playing the game all the time, right? So we run the gamut, but for all of them, whether your dog's there for a relatively short amount of time or your dog's a permanent resident, essentially, there's still going to be a dog that you can take to the field, and that dog's going to have seen and be comfortable with all the things they're going to come across out in a hunting situation.
Exposed and socialized to everything it needs to be.
Yeah, man, to where, you're going to have a dog that you can take hunting, and it's not going to be an embarrassment to the people, you and the people you're hunting with, mainly you.
Yeah. Yeah, you, and even them, I've had, you start getting a little older, I've loosened up and didn't put a collar on before, and then she'd creep a little bit, and then she'd break. I have to go back though, collar on.
Yeah.
So probably in the 5 seasons I've hunted my dog, she broke twice on me, like just tore out. I had to make those great. Even the seasoned dog will still do it, but to me that's a lot better.
My vision is beyond just the dog training. My vision is that, and I say my vision, it's our vision, but I mean, I've but thought of a lot of this stuff, and it's up to us to implement it all and see the vision through and all that. But equally importantly, I mean, we want to have it be a training grounds, not just for the dog, but for the people too, where the owner can come, stay in our facilities, have a good time, eat good food, have some fun, learn a bunch of stuff, in addition to his dog getting trained. So, I mean, what my vision is for us to have a program that's way more than just, hey, we're going to train your dog and your dog's going to win ribbon, or And then the next
Real
step,
relationship oriented.
I mean, we want you and your dog to be a team where you can go hunting and everybody's on the same page. And if your dog does this, you know what you need to do. At least you've been given those tools. And so hopefully, when you go somewhere, it's something where if the dog has a little come apart, you know how to deal with it, and you don't have a come apart too.
Yeah. That's so great. I can really see y'all, and I hope, man, if y'all do this, I'll definitely be there. If I could, what you're telling me, I could definitely see y'all also doing like some clinic weeks, clinic weekends where y'all were cleaning, host like a week long clinic, bring your dog, start leveling on kind of some expo type stuff, and this is how you help a young gun dog. Maybe your old gun dogs give you some problems. How do you kind of bring them back so that you don't risk shooting them or they're running out, or have people being there for a long weekend or a week and do that kind of stuff.
I mean, really what we want to do is have it be like our hunts are 3-day hunts. So you come for 3 days and it's like sporting clays course, but it's set up for dogs. So we've got, and our trainers know what the dog's going to do. They know where the dog's either going to get it or it's going to make a mistake here. Just like you're either going to shoot the bird or you're going to miss it. And here's where you're going to miss it. And here's how. And we can tell you how to correct for that shot that you missed. So that's how I kind of envision what, in my mind, I want it to be like is, we've got 10 tests set up and you run your dog through here. And if your dog doesn't do it, okay, we know what he did. We know why he did it and we know how to fix it. And we're going to help you understand what happened, why it happened, and how you need to deal with fixing it. And it may be simple stuff. It may just be something as simple as one of them might be putting your dog in a ground blind. You might not even get started, right?
Yeah.
Or might be in there and it might cheat a little bit, or it may not mark well on that bird, or whatever the case may be. And so that's what I'd like to see. It becomes something where it's really interactive and like a sporting clays deal where, you just go out and shoot 100 trap. I mean, that sucks, right? You're dissing board by 50 and hoping you can put the gun down and go drink a beer because you're done with it. But if you shoot 100 sporting clays birds, then, it's different. There's just, you're engaged the whole time. And so that's how I'd like to see our dog training component of that weekend be, or that 3 or 5 day or whatever the period is, where, it's fun, it's educational, it's good for the dog, it's good for you, and it's laid back. It's not a high pressure deal.
Man, that sounds like a lot of fun, and I definitely see what you're saying that for that, and really build those relationships and case by case, and bringing everybody in, and kind of events and long weekends, and that all makes sense to me. I can see what you're saying with that.
I think there'd be good participation. I think it'd be an awesome off-season thing for people to do, and I think it'd be a lot of fun. And it's for us business-wise, it's a good way for us to keep our staff engaged and utilize our resources that are sitting there and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, just like I was talking about for me while we're in a hunt test, I didn't want hunt to end. Well, there's another opportunity for me to go do something.
Right.
That's pretty neat. So on that, just kind of some of your preferences. Do you Ira have any preference between like English lab, British lab, American lab, or it's just a good dog with what you care
about? Black.
Black lab. That was gonna be my next question. Do you care about color?
I am prejudiced. Yellows, they haven't worked out for me. Not, I've seen a bunch of good ones. Chocolates too. I had Chessie was my first real retriever. I only had one.
I got one of them crazy chocolates, so everybody, I get the stink eye sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I see them all in the office every day. I mean, I don't know what you'd classify our dogs as. They're kind of there's so many strains, lineages, looks, physical abilities within the Labrador world. It's crazy, right? I mean, you've got English labs and American labs, and field trial labs is, man, it's painting with a broad brush, because you see everything in between. There's mutts everywhere in between. But like most of our dogs that we hunt with now, most of them are somewhere within the Tony's original dog, Rough. Most of them, a lot of them are within that lineage somehow, some way. And they're good looking dogs, in my opinion. They're semi-blocky head, but they still like to swim. They still like to retrieve. They still have a lot of drive. I mean, if you go to just kind of the pure catch-all, paint them in a box kind of thing, British Labs to me are show dogs. A lot of them don't want to swim. They don't have much drive. They're kind of pretty to look at if you like that look. And then you get your American bred dogs that are, I think, kind of ugly and long nose and long legs, and great goose dogs, a lot of drive, all that. But, ours are probably in the middle with a little more of a British look, but a lot of desire and a lot of drive and a lot of, brains. And of course they all look different. It's not like they all look the same in a litter. They're not all copies. But I don't really have a favorite there. We got a kennel with 60 dogs and they all look different, and they're all different the way they act and everything else. What I don't like is one that's crazy and barks his head off and steps in his shit and jumps up all over you and all that, just like anybody else doesn't like that,
That's right. So as far as like the pedigree, is that what y'all doing? Tony's dog and maybe your dog and Clint's dog, y'all just the dogs y'all have that y'all like, that's what y'all want to replicate?
Well, we're getting out of that some. I'm just saying that's what we, as far as our immediate community of Habitat Flats, have. One of our partners, Jason Zare, he's been really proactive in like going and searching out pedigrees of puppies that he likes and he thinks would be a good fit, purchasing those puppies, bringing them in. And so, you can't be so clean that you're going to end up with issues, so we've been outsourcing a lot of stuff. And but still, I mean, at the core and the base, that's kind of what we have and what we'd like to stick close to. But at the same time, bringing in new blood and with every puppy's a gamble. Every puppy's a gamble.
You're just loading the dice no matter what.
Yeah, man. You're just hoping that you're getting things in your favor. But we'll put, like I said, we got 25 puppies. There's gonna be some and we're like, man, this one isn't really for us. This one kind of fits what we want to keep, and we'll hold some of those back for ourselves and sell some of them off. Not there's anything wrong with them. They just might not be what we want, and then there's other things like not everybody wants a black lab. Some people want chocolate, want yellow. Well, it's a world where, the consumer, I like black labs. Not everybody wants a black lab. Somebody may have grown chocolate lab or a yellow lab, and they just don't know there's better dogs out there. I'm just kidding.
Well, in my defense, she's just bred her. I just bred her a couple days ago. We'll get in that in a second. We're a third later, but she's had 23 puppies so far, and they've all been black. So I mean, she's got it in her. There's greatness there.
Yeah. So we don't want to paint ourselves into a box like, here's what we do and here's all we do and that's it. So, we're looking more than just that for sure. But yeah, we're going about it responsibly and as best we think we can. So,
man, it sounds great. It really does.
Treading water upstream, hoping that any startup's always a learning deal. And so, yeah, man, I mean, it's cool and we love it. And it's been fun, and I'm sure it'll be something that is good in the long run.
Yeah, I just, as soon as I seen that, and I didn't really know what was going on, I messaged Joe. I was like, hey, are y'all starting a kennel? He's like, oh yeah, it's all new. It's gonna be good stuff. And then I didn't know who the trainer was. I didn't know what y'all had going on, and it looks great. I'm excited. And what you tell me about people come to how you're doing it with the long weekend and stuff. People being able to come out there and make an event out of it and have programs and stuff. It really does sound like a fun event. So when that schedule comes out, I'll probably put my name on the list sometime.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll make a spot for you, but that's kind of what we're working for. And all these things take time to incorporate. I mean, you're talking about infrastructure and, there's a lot of moving parts. So you can't just like snap your fingers and have it happen. But that is the plan, and everybody's on board and everybody sees the vision and all that. And so that's what we're working towards.
So with the kennel now, MOmarsh has got some new dog products. We just come out with some new bumpers y'all come up with. We had the canvas bumpers, in 19 that come out, and now there's the new poly bumpers. And I know we talked, there's some more stuff coming out. Is that what's driving a lot of these dog products that you're coming up with? Is needs and uses?
Well, I mean, on the bumper side, I think it's cool. There's still several things I'd like to do on the bumper side, but golly, it's just so hard to get stuff done right now in China with everything that's going on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really, really, really a struggle. So this year, I mean, I think this year is going to be tough on the MOmarsh side in general, not just the dog side, but everything. Just getting stuff here is terrible. We've got several more dog products and retweaks and all that in the works. On the hunting side, same thing. We're looking for some big expansionary deals that I've been working on for years that are finally getting some traction. But again, on the product development production side, we're getting slowed down significantly. But even like the new bumper, I mean, it's different than the majority of what's out there, and they're durable, they're easy to throw, the dogs like them, they're comfortable for them to pick up, there's not all that. So I feel like that's a step in the right direction. There's several other things I'd like to do, but they're kind of more out of the box, so then that creates new hurdles and all that. Vegetables and meat, and use flour and then a reducing agent, which is a liquid, and thicken something up, and then either serve it over bread or rice or by itself or whatever. So I do a lot of that. And then we do, golly, I don't know if you have a pellet grill, but those things are like, they're in my mind a godsend. I mean,
man, I'm getting one as soon as I get home. Which one do you use? Use Traeger like Tony and them, or what do you do?
No, I've got 5 pit bosses, and thing I like about pit boss is it's indirect, but then it's got a set of gills that goes over the pot. So if you want to truly grill with it or get it really hot where you can sear stuff, then you just move that top plate over, and then you've got direct heat that's hot. And so, like with the
nice.
old, you'd have to do your indirect stuff, and then you'd have sear it on something else, whether it's a cast iron skillet or a grill or whatever. But with that one, you can do all that there. And I don't know who else all has that, but it's, for the money, it's a pretty good unit. And I mean, I like them.
Do you use any special flavor pellets like smoked wood pellets or apple pellets or anything like that?
I just go to Walmart or Sam's, get whatever they have,
Yeah.
Now when I go to the lodge, I always run out, and then or my house in Sumner, and then I run over to the lodge and grab whatever. We got 8 million bags of Traeger stuff there, and I can't tell any difference between any of it at the end of the day,
Yeah.
But anyway, they're handy, man. I mean, they're pretty dummy proof, and they're good. I mean, I don't like stuff that's too smoky, like all the smoke I had through my life. You got to be careful. You can over smoke stuff, and then I don't like that. And a lot of people don't know, but the pellet grills, that's a pretty mild smoke, and it's something most people can handle and like.
That's pretty neat. I grew up, my friend of mine who actually recruited me in the military, he and I run the hunting clubs together. we have a bunch of barbecue festivals, of course, in Alabama. So we used to travel around and compete in rib cook-offs, smoked barbecue cook-offs, and that was back in that, like the big green egg was like the big thing back then. And we're still running around, burning coals for hours and shuffling, and adjusting. And man, I couldn't imagine what it would have been like if I had a pellet grill back then. But I set it and hang out and tweak.
Oh yeah.
Oh
You
man, that'd been high living.
turn the switch and you're done. The big green egg, I mean, there's a lot of people that are really good at cooking meat, and they say it's the best thing ever still. And it may be, but golly, it's just so easy to use those other things. And even like, oh, instead of browning all my meat inside and all that, hell, I just go throw it on there and yank it off, and it's got a nice little mild smoky flavor, and you peel that off the bone or just throw it in there, and it's good.
That's kind of what I was thinking, especially with that, because you were doing the dish and I'm going to do a big outside kitchen to it. My wife was going to ask you what kind of grill I want. I said, I really think I want one of them because, I don't have the time like I used to between that ball games, the other stuff. And like, I just want to go cut it on and come in, change diaper or whatever, run a dog and come back and set it. But still have something I enjoy eating, not just some kind of gas grill, cook it and go with type of.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then being here, talk about cage and stuff like that. We just had a guy leave us. He wanted us to kind of like have a go with cookout. So we ended up buying a bunch of crawfish and doing a big crawfish bowl out here last weekend or the weekend prior, excuse me. And so many people here had never had crawfish before. So it was interesting. We had an interesting experience. We started sucking heads. They thought we was crazy.
You probably ended up with a bunch of leftovers.
Oh no, I got a bunch of idiots out here with me. We'll eat all of it. So we all just good from Alabama. The last question, I'll let you go. We'll go over the cooking thing. If somebody's never had duck before, what's your go-to way to prepare a duck the first time for somebody to try
it? Man, I mean, I've never seen anybody that didn't like a duck popper, and so we do them more like roll up, where we stuff them with. I've gotten lazy to where I just cook my cream cheese and saute some onions and jalapenos and candied fig and all that stuff together to where I don't have to add it all to each one. I just take a spoonful and put it in there and then wrap it in bacon. And then we usually cook ours in the oven or on the pellet grill, as hot as you can get it for like 9 minutes, then take it off and let it rest and then just slice it. So I use the whole breast, instead of doing each one individually and then just serve them as a slice deal. But people love that. And then blackened duck breasts are pretty hard to beat too, but we cook them all kinds of ways, but those are probably like my kids' favorite thing to eat is duck poppers. I mean, them and all their friends just tear those up.
Do y'all brine them any, or y'all just clean them and cook
them? The biggest trick is don't use the shot up. Get all that shot up, bloody stuff out of there. You can use a spoonbill or a mallard or whatever, but man, if it's shot up, don't use it.
Don't use it. And that's kind of my big thing with people. And when I was learning how to cook duck, because it took me a while to learn how to do it right, or at least do it where it didn't taste like liver, which I like to do. Not everybody does, so I'd always overcook it or use a shot up duck. But I just started brining them overnight, and then I get next morning and pat them, and I like cast iron cooking them with skin on, just kind of searing them like ahi tuna or something, high for 2-3 minutes on the skin side, high for a minute or two on the other side, and then letting them settle, and then just slicing them up that way. And then everybody that I've tried that's always liked it, but I'm always trying to find new ways to prep them for people who've never had it before. Or they've had it and it was overcooked, like, oh, it just tastes like liver, or it just tastes, whatever.
Oh yeah, that's the worst thing you can do to one is overcook it. Even our gumbo, we've gone to where I'll take it and put it on the pellet grill, open those gills up, and just basically grill it over a pretty hot heat for not very long. And then I take the duck at the end and I'll put the duck in the bowl. I don't even put it in the pot to where it's still just like steak, it's medium rare and all that. Whereas I used to brown it and then put it in the bowl. And then it was like nasty old stew meat. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, they kept cooking on and soaking
Yeah,
everything up.
yeah. So we've changed that, and that's been good. God, there's just so many good ways to cook it, but like you said, the key is don't overcook it. Like,
Yeah, I learned that the hard way.
yeah, when the Higdon boys were up last year, I cooked a big gumbo, and I cooked a bunch of duck that way to put in their bowls at the end. And I mean, I had a pile of duck. They ate all the duck. There was no duck to put in the gumbo.
As you was trying to cook Dumbo, they just digging their heads in there.
Well, no, I was just waiting for all the duck to come off the grill. The gumbo was ready,
Oh yeah.
and they ate all the duck before we ever got to put it in the gumbo.
Oh, Boone and them, they digging in, huh?
Yeah, and that was just olive oil and probably strawberry seasoning. I mean, it was,
Strawberry season.
yeah.
Just rub it on before you put it on there.
You know what it is? Strawberry seasoning.
I do not.
I think it's from like southern Missouri, northwest Tennessee. I don't know, somewhere in there.
I'll
But
have to look that up.
strawberry is an old black name, from that part of the country down there. So it doesn't have any strawberry flavoring in it. It's a family name, but it's kind of it's not really, it's kind of like a Cajun seasoning, but not quite as
Yeah.
spicy. And it's just a good all around marinade seasoning. So like my staple standard is olive oil and a spice, whether it's strawberry seasoning or Tony's or whatever I use, I'll just put that in there and let it sit in that for a little bit and then throw it on the grill. Even like for my poppers and all that stuff.
Cool. I learn something new every day. Well, I think that's a good spot for me to end on that. You done taught me something new.
Well, it's
Uh,
easy to get. You can go to Sam's or wherever. Sam's has it now, so it's easy to find.
yeah, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna order me some. I'm gonna do some stuff. We're gonna cook some steaks and some pork chops here. We're doing another cook out here. Trying to find stuff to occupy our couple off nights we get. So we like cooking out, hanging out the downstairs. So I'm always looking for something new to try out. So let's see if I can order some and maybe Amazon it over or something.
There you go.
All right, brother. Hey man, I appreciate your time. For real,
All right,
dude.
talking to you, man.
All
Good
right,
luck.
man.
Hope you get home soon.
Oh yeah. Don't leave me a few ducks just in case.
Okay. Well, good luck there, man. Hope you get home.
Appreciate it, bro. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Have a great one.
All right, later.